And this is where the murder took place, sir. Other than removing the body, we left everything else untouched. Thanks, Detective. I'll just have a look around. It looks like the police are still investigating. Oh yeah, by the way, I thought I'd better ask, just to be sure. Are you really gonna defend that nun, Iris, at the trial tomorrow? Yes, I will. I gave her my word, and now I must follow through with my commitment. Well, in that case, I've got to be careful. I've got to make sure I don't leak the prosecution's whole investigation. Don't worry about it, Detective. Just keep your mouth closed, and I think most of it will flow out on its own. You got it, sir! I'll make sure it flows out like water from a tap! Yes, you do that, Detective. Just how much has your runny spout leaked over the years? The victim is the famous picture book author, Miss Elise Doneem. Her entire past, up until she won that writing award last year, is a total mystery. It's hard to believe in this day and age you can still find people like that. The estimated time of death of the victim was between 10 and 11 p.m. on February 7th. The cause of death was blood loss resulting from a stab to the back by the murder weapon. The murder weapon? The victim was found skewered with a giant sword, sir. That's terrible. Yeah, but there's one strange thing. Yes? The victim's entire body was covered with bruises. The bruises are consistent with falling from the height of a 2-story building. A 2-story building? That would be about the same height as that room in front of us, correct? Hey, you're right! Way to go, Mr. Edgeworth! That just happens to be the room that Elise Doneem was staying in. Maybe she was pushed out of the window after she was stabbed by the sword. Now then, Detective, let's see if we can summarize what we've learned so far. Okay, let's take a look at the map. According to the testimony of Sister Bikini, the head nun, right after they'd finished dinner, she and Maya Fey headed to the inner temple. At 10 p.m., after ringing the bells for lights out, Iris went to the inner temple. When she got there, Bikini had her take over while she went back to Hazakura Temple. After taking a hot bath to soothe her back, Sister Bikini witnessed the murder in the courtyard. Yeah, if you want more details, you should ask Bikini yourself in the main hall. The inner temple, huh? I'd like some more information about that place. The trial begins tomorrow, but who's the prosecutor? I'm pretty sure it's that Godot guy, but nobody can get a hold of him, so they're looking for a replacement. What do you mean? It's really weird. All of a sudden, no one can reach him. I wonder if the rumors are true. Maybe since Mr. Wright caught a cold and won't be defending, he just lost interest. I intend to appear in court in the role of defense attorney. However, I would be quite unhappy if it came out that I'm actually a prosecutor. Yeah, I can see why, but I'm not the one you have to worry about. I think the real problem is going to be that judge. Yes, he certainly would remember my face even after such a long absence. That's why I requested that another judge preside over the trial tomorrow. We've only met each other once. There's a good chance he won't remember me at all. Yeah, but what about the prosecutor? Everyone in the prosecutor's office must know you. Wouldn't it be a problem if someone there made a big stink, sir? There's no need to worry. I pulled a few strings and arranged for a prosecutor of my own choosing. Wow, Mr. Edgeworth! I had no idea you had such a powerful string to pull! And before I get So the sword from this gold statue is actually the murder weapon. It sure is. It's called a shichishito, by the way. Nasty piece of work, sir. There's still blood in it. I suppose this is the victim's blood. Yep, it's all over the blade. And speaking of all over the blade, there are fingerprints all over the hilt of the shichishito too. Fingerprints? Naturally, they match the prints we got from the younger nun, the defendant. Her fingerprints are on the murder weapon. What's wrong? You're looking really solemn. Is this how it is for Wright? Is this what it's like to be a defense attorney? Yeah, I figure it doesn't feel really good. To be honest, it feels more like it's detrimental to your health. It's a lantern. I suppose they light it at night. There's something elegant about the light of a fire. At the end of each month, I always like to relax in my room by candlelight. Detective, can you not afford to pay your electricity bill? How did you know? The main gate must be just over that stone wall. Ah, stone walls. I jumped over a few of those in my time. Most of them are good memories, but not all. Detective, perhaps someone should introduce you to the concept of paucity of words. I just love skiing. Really? You don't, seem like the type. Well, what about sleds? Sleds? Nah, they're a little too kiddie, you know? Messes with my hard-boiled image. What's with the silence, Mr. Edgeworth? Is the world starting to go mad? The main hall of Hazakura Temple is above us here. Hey, you're right, but I'm pretty sure the main hall didn't have a second floor. Hazakura Temple was built on a steep part of the mountain. The front and back of the main hall are on different levels. Oh, it's one of those kinds of buildings, huh? Oh, that makes sense. But wouldn't it be easier just to build the place slanted, sir? I fail to see how you can consider that to be an even remotely good idea. Neon says, the world went mad a while ago, edgy boy. Yeah, catch up, dear. Hello and good evening, Neon. Today is apparently all of my controllers need charging sort of day, so my Joy-Cons are plugged in and I'm using my plugged-in backup controller. What's this? It looks like a wizard's staff. That belonged to the victim, Miss Elise Donim. There's nothing strange or magical about it. Oh yeah! Listen, this is just between us, okay, sir? Yes. What? This is top secret stuff. Don't tell anyone about this. Alright. The truth is, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a wizard. Aww. That's it? That's what you wanted to tell me? And that's it. The staff was made from a very strong kind of wood. What about fingerprints? Were there any on it? Just the victims. Well, let's talk about the inner temple. What is this inner temple that Maya was supposedly training at? According to Bikini, it's an old building they use for training the acolytes. It's on the other side of Dusky Bridge. The bridge that burned down, huh? Is there anything else on the other side of that bridge besides the inner temple? Nope, not a thing. Nothing. And the other side is surrounded by cliffs on all sides. In a way, it's kind of like a little island out there. So the only thing there is the inner temple. I hear it's not the kind of place a person could survive in. please be alright, Maya. Oh, so I think I might have already told you about this, but the truth is... Ah, yes. This sword represents the multiple branches that life can take, all ending as one. I've never heard that one. You know what I think about sometimes? What kind of life would I have had if I hadn't joined the homicide division? So you think about that kind of thing too, huh? Of course I do. I think about it a lot. Me as a traffic cop, me as a detention officer, me as the Blue Badger. I guess he doesn't have any plans to leave the force. Huh? What's that thing doing on your lapel, Mr. Edgeworth? Is it really that odd? You bet it is, sir. A prosecutor wearing a defense attorney's badge? That's like a detective with a license to kill. Does this little thing hold that ominous of a meaning? Whenever something happens, this guy always shows up like he hasn't got a care. In fact, you know what? Every time he shows up, I always wonder the same thing. Maybe somehow he's actually the cause of all these incidents. I wonder if Gumshoe has realized it yet. You could say the exact same thing about him. What about Pearl? Has no one seen her at all since last night? Seems that way. Apparently, she hasn't gone back to Crying Village either, sir. But it's true that she was with Elise Donim at some point last night. No doubt about it. Ah! You mean that maybe whoever killed Miss Donim also... Don't jump to any crazy conclusions. Ouch! You sure have one mean punch, Mr. Edgeworth. He's downright fierce. Edgeworth, don't punch him! I wonder if Maya's alright. I can never show my face to Wright again if something were to happen to her. Ah, it'll be okay. If that ever happens, you can just show him my face. How's that? Eck! I didn't mean it like that, sir. It was just a silly little joke. I wonder if there is another way to get across to the other side. The support wires for the bridge are still intact, correct? That bridge is almost 20 yards long. I know I may look like it, Mr. Edgeworth, but I'm no superhero. In any case, I just hope Maya is alright. There's a lot we don't know about this victim. We don't know her real name, her background, we don't know anything, really. That's rather odd. If she was trying to hide her identity, why would she become an author? I'll bet it was just one of those things, you know. She probably never expected to get so popular. You think she'd have something to say about that sword? Yep. I don't see Larry anywhere. Maybe we scared the poor kid away. His heart was shut tight with a number of psycho locks. I guess I'll have to look for him now. What a thorn in my side. That must be the main hall back there. A brilliant deduction, sir! Are you trying to flatter me, Detective Gumshoe? A brilliant use of suspense to build the tension, sir. According to the Wright, the head nun has some important information. I can't miss the opportunity to speak with her. This gate looks quite old. It's strong enough to resist the weight of time. That's Mr. Edgeworth, I know. You got a real flair for words, sir. I've always appreciated this kind of old, timeless elegance. That's exactly how I feel, too. Take this coat, for example. Like a fine wine, it gets better with age. Even fine wine turns to vinegar and begins to stink at some point. I suggest you wash that atrocious rag you call a coat, Detective. I suppose this type of thing is necessary up here in the mountains. Say, this just gave me a great idea. Something tells me he's going to tell me what's on his mind, whether I like it or not. I've got an idea for a brand new invention. It might even make me rich. An invention? Yeah, a car that can travel on snow. I'll call it a snow car. So what do you think, sir? Would you go for a ride on something like that? Only after you take the first 1,000 test rides. I can see a small bell tower from here. Hey, that just reminded me. There's something I've always wondered about. Something tells me he's going to tell me what's on his mind, whether I like it or not. We call a person who tells a lie a liar, right? So why don't we call a person who rings a bell a beller? Or a truer for a guy who tells the truth. Oh man, I'm not gonna get any sleep tonight. I had no idea he was such a deep thinker. I'm not entirely sure I'd call that deep. You know what? Here we go. Ah, Mr. Edgeworth. I came back because I need to ask you a few more questions, if you don't mind. But I've already told you everything that I... Iris, please remember. I'm on your side. You can tell me anything. Yes. Thank you. I just finished speaking with the head nun of Hazakura Temple. She testified very clearly as to what happened. She says she saw you stab Miss Lise Donim with a sword. And one other thing. She said that when Maya Fey began her training at the Inner Temple, you were there as well. What? When I spoke with you last, you claimed that you never went to the Inner Temple. And yet Sister Bikini says she met with you at the Inner Temple that very night. But I didn't go there. I didn't go to the Inner Temple last night. It looks like she's unwilling to tell me the whole truth. I wonder if I'll find the answers I'm looking for if I break those psycho locks.
Take that!
Since I have been handed this case, it is my duty to dig up all the answers, understand? Yes, sir. The smallest flame can sometimes bathe the case in a whole new light. In my years in court, I've seen it happen over and over again. That's why I'm committed to searching until I have those answers. Now then, is it really true that you didn't go to the Inner Temple last night? Yes, I swear. I already told you that. Yes, you said you didn't go because you were frightened. That's right. If that's the case, then the obvious question is, what were you so afraid of? Iris, I wonder, is this what frightened you so much that you couldn't even leave your own room? I'm telling you, I really was in my room all last night. If that's the case, then the obvious question is, what were you so afraid of? Iris, I wonder, is this what frightened you so much that you couldn't even leave your own room?
Take that!
Overlooked something. Aha! Aha. I should have actually looked at this room, shouldn't I? That thing sure casts a strong presence over the whole room. This is the lesser Magadama. It's a precious heirloom containing a great many souls. Huh? This is a lesser? What is the greater one like? The greater Magatama is displayed in the main room of Fey Manor. It was supposed to be shown at the Treasures of Karayan exhibit, but it was so large that they couldn't bring it through the doors. Neon says, nah, I shouldn't have explored this room, it's boring. There's flowing script written everywhere on the walls. Man, I'd bet you'd have awful nightmares if you tried to sleep in here. This is our main hall, so it's protected by a variety of magic spells and charms. They're all designed to prevent evil forces from entering. So if I slept here, the Oogie Woogie Boogeyman wouldn't hunt me down for eternity? Alright. Does this guy think about anything other than eating and sleeping? Oh, it's a warmed cat box, but where are all the cats? It's called a hibachi. It's for heating the room. Oh, look at all these ancient straw frisbees. Those are a type of zabuton cushions called enza. Why are you giving me such a hard time, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? Why? Because learning something new might actually be a good thing for you, detective. It's an altar with a giant Magatama enshrined on it. There are lots of candles lined up on it, too. You know, I haven't had a birthday party for myself in a while. Maybe you should blow out those candles over there to make up for that. Mr. Edgeworth, would you mind singing a happy birthday to me? Stop that! Cut that out! Please don't blow out the altar candles! There are more Enza cushions in the corner of the room. What's that white piece of paper sticking out from under that stack? Beats me. Would you mind checking that for me, Detective Gumshoe? Yes, sir. Neon says, happy birthday, Gumshoe. Hey, here you are, Mr. Edgeworth. Looks like an old manila envelope. Yeah! What is it, Detective? This could be it, an ultra-important clue, a super special clue. I suppose I should read it myself, then. Yeah, it looks like a letter addressed to Sister Iris. Tonight at 10 at Heavenly Hall, unless you want your secret to be exposed. This sounds like a blackmail letter. Nice going there, Mr. Edgeworth. Why can't I ever find clues like that? You're an ultra-important prosecutor, a super-duper prosecutor. Well, I suppose it takes a super-duper kind of dumb to miss a clue like this. Don't call me out like this, please. Do you know anything about this old, crumpled-up letter? Is that addressed to Iris? Yep, it clearly says to Iris on it. I can't believe it. That girl doesn't have any secrets from me. Ah, so Sister Bikini didn't know anything about it. Wait, wrong direction. Yep, no. Okay, let's try this again.
Take that! Take that!
I found this in the main hall. It is addressed to you. Ah, that's... Well, Iris, why are you glaring at me like that? You were scared of the blackmailer who wrote this to you, isn't that correct? Ah! Was it the evidence or the power of my glare that broke that lock? That's a good question. Oh well, I don't suppose it matters either way. But, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes? I thought that letter was just someone playing a prank on me. A prank? Well, yes. After all, even if I did have a secret, there's no one to tell it to that would cause me any grief. I wonder about that. Sister Bikini is like a mother to me. I would never hide anything from her. No, you may not have anything to hide under normal circumstances. However, last night was different. Huh? Unfortunately, I don't know the exact nature of your secret yet. However, whatever it is, there is one person you didn't want your secret told to.
Take that!
Phoenix Wright. Ah! You mean something to Wright, it seems. And I can tell he holds a special place in your heart as well. That's why you didn't want him, of all people, to know your deep, dark secret. Well, what do you have to say? I should have expected as much. Especially from a friend of his. And I've healed up from my mistake. After dinner, this letter was waiting for me in my room. And as I said, I was frightened by it. What is this heavenly hall the letter mentions? It's a small mountain shack at the base of Dusky Bridge. A small shack, huh? It's more like a broken down shack that no one would ever want to go near. Where is it on this map? It's around here. To get there, you must follow a small path down from Dusky Bridge. The reality is, to get to the inner temple, I had no choice but to cross that bridge. But the thought that such a terrible criminal could be lurking at Heavenly Hall... I was so scared by the whole affair that I didn't even want to think about it. So this is the secret that you locked away in your heart? Yes. It looks as though I may have to visit this Heavenly Hall now. Maybe I'll find some sign of our mystery blackmailer. In any case, you still claim to have never left your room last night. Yes, that's exactly right. The trial starts tomorrow. I promise you I will win. I'm going to win so that you and Phoenix Wright can see each other again. But when I do, you must promise me that you will tell him your secret. But it's pointless. Why would you say that? Because I may know who Phoenix Wright is, but he has no idea who I am. I think he does. I'm pretty sure he does. Okay, Gumshoe, let's go down, Whoa, not much of a view down here, huh? It's still better than the view from my apartment, though. Someone's here. Hide yourself, detective. Oh, why? Why does this always happen? Whenever I find a girl I like, they always run away. I even chased one of them to Japan. Next is going to be prison, I guess. I'll steal that detective's wallet. That'll get me locked up for sure. Nah, I can't do that to someone who looks like he's down on his luck. He's just talking to himself. Shh. Be quiet and listen. I knew it. I shouldn't have done that. I blew it again. Done that? What did he do, I wonder? Hey, you! About what you just said. I got an objection. Ooh, what the? Edgy, you dirty rat! Gumshoe, you oaf. I'm sorry, sir. Before I knew it, I was shouting out objection. And in a loud, commanding voice, too. I even pointed with my pointer finger. You've watched too many trials. Well, I'm sorry. Okay, Larry, the jig is up. What have you got to say for yourself? What is this little shack, anyway? Well, I just discovered it myself yesterday. And why were you down here in the first place? Come on, I'm an artist. I was looking for a good place to sketch. This is a great little place. It's, artistic. It's quiet, it's cold, it's got no power, and it looks like it's about to collapse. Sounds a lot like my apartment there, pal. One thing's for sure, no one is likely to show up and disturb you here. So, can I get you something to drink? Some hot water, maybe? He's getting all buddy-buddy on us, sir. Actually, let's examine the area before I forget. That's a horrible graffiti problem you've got there, pal. You don't know anything, detective. This is art. It's an expression of my bittersweet love for Iris. Larry, do you know what the difference between graffiti and true art is? It's how the artist himself defines it, right? I should have seen that one coming. Well, if that's the case, then all of my lunchboxes are masterpieces too, pal. What is this festive-looking ornament? It reminds me of art class in grade school. We used to have a lot of fun decorating the classroom with origami, remember? Well, Oh, yeah, you were never any good at it. Really? Yeah, this guy was so bad he couldn't even fold $1, let alone a crane. Everyone tried to comfort him, but he would just sit there sobbing. Really? I never would have expected that. Be quiet already. I'll never forget the shame of that day. You want a crane? I can now make a perfect quarter-inch crane without a single flaw. Aww. You know, Edgy, nothing for nothing, but a quarter-inch crane without a single flaw is not easy. Yeah, that's quite a feat, Prosecutor Edgeworth. This is exactly why I hate childhood friends. The straw roof is totally covered with freshly fallen powdery snow. Wow, makes a nice image, doesn't it? I always did like the rustic look. Heavenly Hall. I suppose it's an appropriate name in some sense. You got that right. Look at that bridge up there. This place has to be heaven, because that thing is hell. You would do well to remember, Larry, that this is a sacred place to some people. Yeah, don't let Sister Bikini hear you saying that. These go all the way to Dusky Bridge. It's a pretty long but easy walk. I fell down 4 times on my way down here, sir. Oh, sorry about that, detective. I ate 4 bananas and tossed their peels on the stairs on my way down here. Why would you do that? What? Slow That's what I was slipping on. Be careful on the way back. Those deadly banana peels are still out there. That's a real important piece of information right there, Mr. Edgeworth. This is the Eagle River, sir. It runs pretty fast, so it doesn't ice over, even in the winter. If it had iced over, Wright would have been in some serious trouble, yes. You're right about that. He would have landed on the ice and slid downstream to who knows where. Not exactly what I meant, but all right. Neon says, add that to the court record. Banana peels are dangerous. Yeah, somebody should add that. It's a little far, but I have a pretty clear view of Dusky Bridge from here. I still can't believe it. Really? What is it, Larry? Huh. Nothing. It's nothing. Sounds pretty suspicious to me. Something about that statement smells, and you know what they say. Make sure there's nothing else to click on, just in case. Back to talking. What about Iris? Listen to me, Edgy. You've got to do this. You've got to save Iris. Why are you so sure she's innocent? Because she's cute? Watch your mouth! Anyway, I've made up my mind about it. I'm gonna marry that girl. Don't. Mr. Edgeworth is pretending he didn't hear you, so I'm gonna ask for him. Have you already asked this girl to marry you? No, not yet, but I can tell how she feels by the look in her eyes. I doubt you've exchanged more than 2 words with her. How can you even tell? She's got this, I really want this man to carry me over the threshold look. Larry, you delusional bastard. I'm sure Nick would be surprised. I'm sure Nick would be alarmed. He'd never imagine that I could marry such a beautiful girl like that. Something tells me he would be shocked indeed. That's why I didn't want her to do anything dangerous. I mean, what am I gonna do if she gets hurt? What is this guy trying to say? He lost me about a mile back. If we really want to know the answer to that, we're going to have to drag him onto the witness stand. Come to think of it, you still haven't answered my question. Where were you and what were you doing last night? Aw, man. Don't you have anything else to talk about? With that kind of attitude, you'll never be a ladies' man like me. Okay. Chill out with those scary eyes. I got it. Do you really want to know? Last night, I saw something incredible. Something incredible. And of course, you're not going to tell me. Yeah, but let's not talk about that now. Let's talk about the good old days. What do you say? Come on, I'll pour you a nice cup of hot water. Why hasn't he realized that I absolutely despise talking about the good old days, especially with him? Neon suggests chucking him in the river. I'm tempted. Oh, so tempted.
Take that!
That might have been a bit premature, but... Alright, now you're going to tell me what you really saw last night. Oh, you're really upset, aren't you, Edgy? Okay, I'll talk. Oh, that was a bit too easy. Yeah, anyway, it was awesome! Never seen anything like it. And around 10 o'clock last night, it started thundering. I'd been sleeping. I'm not sure for how long. Suddenly, zing, the world in front of me went white. Like I'd just been slapped in the face by my old girlfriend, Naomi. Oh dear. And then it was on fire. The bridge was on fire. Dusky Bridge caught on fire. Are you saying you saw it with your own eyes? Hey, why are you giving me the evil eye? I'm telling the truth. There's still 3 psycho locks remaining. That means he's still trying to hide something. By the way, Larry, where were you when you saw that happen? Where, you say? What do you mean? What do you mean, what do I mean? Just answer the question. I was in my own room, by the main hall. Where else would I be? As usual, you're as transparent as an empty jelly jar. The problem, I suspect, lies there. There? What do you mean, there? It's impossible for you to have seen lightning strike Dusky Bridge from your room.
Take that!
This is a map of the area. Take a look around the vicinity of Hazakura Temple. Oh, what am I looking for? I think that should be fairly obvious. The main hall is surrounded by trees, and it's impossible to see the bridge from here. What? Why didn't you tell me that before? Well, how about it? How about what? Do you feel like talking now? About what? It looks like it won't be that easy after all. You leave me no choice. I'll have to move on to the next step. You weren't in your room at that temple, so then where were you? You don't know that I wasn't in my room. So where was Larry, and why was he there? If I've read the situation up to this point correctly, the answer is fairly obvious. Very well then, let's test my theory. The place you witnessed lightning striking Dusky Bridge from was here. Quite literally here, I'm thinking.
Take that!
The place you saw the lightning strike from was, naturally, Heavenly Hall. Oh, why would I be hanging out on this old shack? It's freezing cold, there's no electricity, and it could fall apart at any minute. Larry, how do you know that anyway? How do you know there's no electricity? After all, it's not that dark yet. In other words, you have just provided evidence to prove my theory. My theory that you've at least once in your life visited Heavenly Hall after sunset. I have to admit I'm impressed, Edgy. You're in a totally different league from Nick. That's nice. Now tell me, what were you doing at this cold little shack last night? That's what you might call a fair decor. I think you mean affaire decor. Could it be you were waiting for someone? Oh, no. You really are one scary guy, you know? I believe that last night you were waiting for this person to come meet you.
Take that!
There's only one person you'd wait for in a horrible place like this, Larry. I told you before, don't call me Larry! The person you were waiting for was Iris. Oh, suddenly I feel cold all over, Edgy. No doubt because of my chilly glare. So you think I got the hots for Sister Iris, huh? Do you have some kind of evidence? You got something that proves I was waiting for her, or are you just guessing? This is where I draw the line and end this ridiculous little game. Here's the evidence that proves you were waiting for Iris. Here's your evidence. You called her to the spot with a pathetic blackmail letter. Oh, hey, give that back. You're embarrassing me. What are you doing with that anyway? That's not important. I misjudged you, Larry. What do you mean? Taking advantage of a woman's frailty like that, you should be ashamed of yourself. Oh. First of all, what's this at the top of the letter? It says salutation here. Well, that's what it said in that book, Letter Writing for Dummies. We're not supposed to actually write that. That's where you're supposed to write Dear Iris. Wow, I'm so sorry. Larry, oh my god. Actually... Just for the sake of... Come to think of it, when you were a kid, you were always saying, when I grow up, I want to be a lawyer and defend people or something like that. That was a long time ago. But see, now you've got the chance to follow your boyhood dream for a day. Edgy, you've got to do it. You've got to save my little Iris. Grr, this is exactly why I hate childhood friends. I still can't believe it. She was such a great person. But someone's pinning this murder on my sweet little Iris. Edgy, please, I'm counting on you. Well, frankly, I was hoping you could give me a little more than that. Well then. I got it. I'll draw you a portrait. How about that? Since you're kind enough to offer, all right. Miss Elise, why? Huh? What is it, Larry? There's something missing from the staff. There's something missing. So you were here in Heavenly Hall last night, weren't you, Larry? And you saw the lightning hit Dusky Bridge, didn't you? Sorry, Edgy. Sorry doesn't cut it, you scumbag. Threatening a young lady like that. Gulp. Wait, hold up. What now, pal? What are you talking about? What threatening stuff? I'll tell you what, you tried to scare Iris by threatening to expose her secret, pal. What do you mean threaten? When did I threaten her? Unless you want your secret to be exposed. That sure sounds like a threat to me, pal. Blackmail, in fact. Give me a break. It's a love letter. Haven't you ever been in love? What did you just say? My love for her burns so hotly it could melt all the snow on this mountain. Oh, and what is this secret you mention? Come on, Edgy. Don't you get it? I'm talking about the secret love between her and me. Obviously, she wouldn't want Old Lady Bikini to know about it, right? About her hot and sour, bittersweet love affair. All right, then why did you send a love letter in a business-like manila envelope? Give me a break. It's not my fault I didn't have any other envelopes. Yeesh. Then why were you so quick to apologize, pal? It's because Edgy gave me that scary look of his. What's wrong, Edgy? Why are you so quiet all of a sudden? Larry, you are a dumbass. That's it. That's what all those huge locks were about. I don't understand why you were so defensive. Well, I don't know either. I guess the thing is, you shouldn't expect too much from a guy like me. Hey, come on. Don't let it get you down. I'm still down for the chucking him in the river option. But Mr. Edgeworth, this guy's still hiding something, I know it. What do you mean, detective? Don't forget what this guy said just a minute ago. If you really want to know, last night, I saw something incredible. Neon supports Edgy throwing him in the river. He's right. Larry, what? You're looking at me like a hungry dog that just found a bone. What was this something incredible you saw last night? You're going to tell me, Larry, one way or another. I already told you, didn't I? I saw lightning strike Dusky Bridge. Yes, and I believe it was the incredible sight you saw. But now that I think about it, something doesn't quite ring true. What doesn't? If that's all there is to your story, your heart wouldn't have had all those locks. Therefore, Larry, I do believe you saw something last night. Something more incredible than lightning. What? When? Where? Why? How? Hey, what do you think you're doing? If you hide anything from Mr. Edgeworth, I'll arrest you on the spot, pal. Oh. Oh! What's wrong, sir? Does this mean I have to do it all over again? Why are you glaring at me like I'm next to be hit by a bolt of lightning? I've just about had it with this Harlequin. If I really want to drag the truth out of him, I'll just have to drag him to the witness stand. Edgeworth has lost all patience with this man. I'm dragging him to the witness stand, and then once I'm done with him, I'm chucking him in the river. Oh my. Mr. Larice feels that way about me? Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not, and in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Larice is the witness today? No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Sister Bikini. She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Donim, correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed... Don't worry, I've made the necessary arrangements. I see. Iris, it is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I'm a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. Mr. Edgeworth, I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted. Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. I'm ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant.
Objection!
Oh, hey! Hey, it's his sister. The prosecution stands ready. And you are? Franziska von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? Perchance you wouldn't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Legends are a thing of the past. I'm a von Karma, that is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss von Karma, do you have anything to say? There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. I think she's still a little bit pissed off at Edgeworth. There isn't, but I'm sure once before in this courtroom... Ah! I told you there is no such weakling. What is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. But bailiff, remove that whip at...
Hold it!
I have no objection to the whip. Oh, you do? Oh, you don't, do you? You don't? The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee, but there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. Talk about some sibling rivalry here. Neon says, fight, fight, fight! This promises to be interesting. Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix right here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. Wah! The stage is set. The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well. Ms. Von Karma, please give an outline of this case. With as little whipping as possible. But the whipping is my favorite part. The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Donim. Oof. Her body was found in the Hazukura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well, the court accepts this photo of the crime scene. There is no mistake, this was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well, please bring this witness to the stand. And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. Oh. Oh, I am immediately sympathetic to poor Bikini. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on there, I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. Oh, poor Bikini. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain-plagued witness. Neon also sympathizes with poor Bikini. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. There we go. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little me? Well, I'm the head nun of Hazukura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Wah! The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave this sanctuary at once. Oh, well, I guess that means I should be going there, then. Nice seeing everyone. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis into twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. Wah ha 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 ha. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right! I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you have to say, then. Neon loves her. I love her, too. She's a real hoot. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? That night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazukura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back. That's when I saw it. So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazukura Temple. Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There is only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle, now are you, Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination.
Hold it!
What is this inner temple? Well, see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right? We'll be the ones asking you the questions, madam. In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is required. There's a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training. And how exactly do you help with this process? It's all quite exacting. It can't be performed without a nun supervising. Like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. A tutor with a whip in your case. If that is the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple where the murder took place?
Hold it!
Violently? That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training. Ha 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 ha! On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again? That's right! Raging like a bull in a pig pen. I almost fainted once or twice. Ow! That actually sounds really painful. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, it was going to finally finish me off. I feel so sorry for Bikini.
Hold it!
You left Iris to help with what? What do you think? The Acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 p.m., so we were starting to enter into the training exercises proper. Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple? Well, the job is simply to watch over the Acolytes so that they don't pass away. And just to confirm this point again, that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct? Yes, she's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions.
Hold it!
I'm gonna keep pressing around for the sake of getting as much information as possible. So, you returned to the Hazakura Temple in order to take a bath. My back is to blame for everything. It's a do or be done in kind of world after all. Kill or be killed. How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking? My, what a filthy little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind. I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? Ah, this is why you have to watch the young ones. What are you going on about? I was... Gah! Pathetic Miles Edgeworth. The lowest of the low. Is there some sort of kick me sign stuck to the defense's bench? Oh, that look on his face. Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand, so...
Hold it!
The crime took place in the courtyard, correct? When you go from my room to the main hall, you have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard. That's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case. That certainly seems to be true. There is indeed only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what it is, then I can begin to quantify just how good this witness's memory and observational skills are. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well, don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No! She said that? A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? Both. Both are likely to lie. The defendant is simply lying to cover her back.
Objection!
But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. Wah! All people lie, that is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Hey, she's whipped me a couple times. Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie, which means we must call your memory into question. Dear, dear, dear. You're older than me and yet you want to play that game? No. Dear, dear, dear. You're older than me and yet you want to play that game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what I... My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter. Then, I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that that alone would do the trick. Then please add your comments about Iris to the testimony, and let us return to the cross-examination. Acted up. Iris came to the inner temple. She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner. Are you sure that you're not making a mistake? You, young man, need to get your estimation of me up from the floor. Iris always wears the same clothes. The smallest thing out of place would have stood out like a sore thumb to me. You're making a mistake. Thinking I made a mistake. An excellent finish there, witness. Still, I have to wonder.
Objection!
Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course! That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wahaha! Wait a minute.
Objection!
Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day, now isn't it, Ms. Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights-out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the Iris she saw should have been missing this very hood. Well. They even drew her on the box. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. That adorable, happy look he gets. Sister, this hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see, a stockpile, a surplus of hoods, eh? Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. Then this is quite strange. Wah! If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There's no contradiction here. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness. While I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. I'm not going to touch this. I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was, oh, Mysticalese, and with that sword of all things. Mysticalese was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that. This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? Oh, so she does that all the time, huh? God, that must have been insufferable when they were kids. Francisco, why do you keep calling me by my full name? Round 11. Okay. How far is it from your room to the inner temple? Let me think a moment. About 20 minutes on these stumps of mine. It's about 15 minutes to Dusky Bridge from Hazakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge. Still, you never made it back there that night, did you? That's right. I was heading along the walkway toward the main hall. Something I want to double check. There we go. So, death occurred somewhere between 10 and 11.
Hold it!
You say you heard a noise. Thump! Just like that! That could only be the sound of the that could only be the sound of the victim falling. It's very quiet in the temple. It's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. Thump! Just like that. But then, couldn't this noise you heard have been snow falling to the ground? I never thought of that. Wah ha 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 ha. Ho 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 ho. Ah! The next one to laugh gets a whipping. Well, whatever the source of the sound, I looked over the courtyard and...
Hold it!
This is the second time the witness has testified to seeing the defendant, but some doubt remains in these claims. Hey, just what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to... The murderer who stabbed the victim with the sword. Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who it was you saw as clearly as you can. Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that has been bugging me all this time. Please, don't keep us in suspense. Her hood! Her hood? That's right! It's coming back to me! Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood! I thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right? Ark. Nice going, Edgeworth. Ha! You've dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth. What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is this testimony important? I mean, yeah. This may initially appear to put me at a disadvantage, but I can't see any other leads at the moment. Your Honor, I would like these new statements to be added to the testimony. Heck, Miles Edgeworth. If you want to hang yourself, you need only to ask. I'll gladly lend you my whip. Witness, add that statement to your testimony. No problem.
Hold it!
You are sure about that? Yes. After all, we always wear the same clothes. I don't mean because we're poor, you understand? It's our style. Yes, that's it. There's absolutely no need to explain yourself. Anyway, she looked different from normal, so that really stuck out. Like me holding a whippet puppy instead of my whip. At least then it might bite you and not someone else. Iris didn't have her hood on, I'm sure of it. Very well. Now, please tell us about the victim, eh?
Hold it!
The room the victim was staying in overlooked the courtyard, correct? Which means the victim's room was on the second floor. No, Hazakura Temple is a single-story building, but the mountain itself slopes downward, which elevates the main gate side of the temple and the guest rooms in the back to about the height of a two-story building. I see, and the victim was staying in one of these elevated rooms, correct? Yes, I should know. I'm the one who carried her things to her room, after all. Ow.
Hold it!
What makes you so sure of all this? It's just like I told you earlier. I heard a noise from the courtyard, okay? Thump, just like that. You are one smart sister, I'll give you that. The autopsy report states that the victim's body was covered in bruises, indicating a fall from around 10 feet in height. It appears that the witness was not mistaken then. Yep, I'm more than just a pretty face, especially in winter. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head judge of Hazukara Temple. There's only 2 of them working there. What's wrong, Miles Edgeworth? No snappy comeback remark? It doesn't feel like she is lying. This is very powerful testimony, too. She claims to have seen the instant in which the defendant stabbed the victim. There are only 2 things I can believe in right now. My client, Iris, and my own abilities as a defense attorney. That.
Objection!
Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say anyway. Oh, please do! My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Ms. Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. How did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Ah! Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was then thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below.
Objection!
Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Doneem's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? Ah! No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. However, if there was no blood in the room, then your claim that... Ah! I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure your honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood, very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. Order, order, order. I must admit that this is a probable version of events. I'd expect to know less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please, remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now! The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Can we get her a chair or something? Is there any sort of chair we can loan her for this, so she can like take a load off? Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. How generous of you, Miss Franziska. With the whip? Oh boy. Yeah, alright, alright. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mystic Ami was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that. At that time, was the victim bleeding? Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all of this, of course, so I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood, not then. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed? Carefully. This is very important. It's Iris we're talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No, when I looked over, the sword was already in Mystic Elise's body. It might not be conclusive, but this testimony supports her theory. The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth. So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? That's right! Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well. That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further? Yeah? Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now you say you saw the victim bleeding. Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. What did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman getting stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day. Pulling the sword out? Well, it wasn't exactly pulling, it was more like it came out. Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony. Oh, was that important? Yes, dear, it was. More important than you can imagine. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out.
Hold it!
Smoothly, you say? You're saying you saw the sword smoothly slide out. That's right! The whole thing happened right next to the gold statue of Mystic Ami. Mystic Elise was on the ground and Iris was stooped over her. The sword was buried up to the hilt. When Iris stood up, the sword in her hand just slid out of Mystic Elise's body. It slid out from the gaping wound. It goes without saying that if the sword was removed, there would be bleeding. Nothing out of place here. Is that really the case? Can't help but feel that something about this testimony is very out of place. That something which couldn't possibly have happened appears to have happened.
Hold it!
Was the bleeding caused by the killer removing the sword? No mistaking it, I remember it all clear as day. Don't you think that's a bit odd? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? Why would the killer pull out the sword? What? If all she wanted to do was place the weapon in the hand of the gold statue, then there was no reason to remove it from the body. All that would have accomplished is causing the victim to bleed unnecessarily. Your thoughts, Ms. Von Karma? That's... Indeed, it is strange now that you mention it. I'm going to need to find an answer to this mystery too. Anyway, the witness saw something terrible. So what did you do after that, witness?
Hold it!
Now, on to what the killer did next. You saw none of it, correct? Well, I was unconscious. How long were you out for? I don't know, 10, maybe 20 minutes? A young man with a very prickly-looking head woke me up. By stepping on me, actually. I'm not sure I like that method of resuscitation. I didn't mean to! Well, I wasn't asking for mouth-to-mouth or anything of the sort. But I would have welcomed a more gentle awakening right about then, let me tell you. I shall have words with the offender personally. Come on, Edgeworth, I didn't mean to! What did you see upon awakening? When I awoke...
Hold it!
By Mystic Ami, you are referring to the golden statue, correct? Just stabbing someone with the Shichi Shito, a sacred treasure, is terrible enough. But to then make a Mystic Ami hold the blade... Truly a heinous, despicable crime. It is easy to despise something, anyone can do it. However, there is something that cannot be done so easily. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's doubly hard for you. Anyway, what is the problem? Exactly why would the killer set up this gruesome scene? Can anyone explain the reasoning behind that? No, I don't think I can. There isn't always a logical reason behind why someone acts. That's true, so true. In early spring, for example, I often find myself... There isn't always. That phrase might come in handy someday. There are too many unnatural elements in this case. Why was it necessary to use the Shichi Shito from the Ami statue as a weapon? Why was the weapon ultimately placed back in the hand of the statue? If I can expose the flaws in this testimony, perhaps then I will begin to find the truth. Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here. What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. What do you mean? Please explain. Explain yourself! To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that.
Objection!
Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep should I so choose. Only men? The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit.
Objection!
That isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding.
Objection!
That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with a shichishito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. No, I don't think so. I mean, look at the way it branches. It's not going to be. It's basically barbed. It's not going to be smooth going in. It's not going to be and it's not going to be smooth coming back out. It'll be smoother coming out, but. Neon says, "Nice try, Francie." Yeah, nice try, Francisca. But
Objection!
I'm not finished. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. You've still got more? This one is simple. If this sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? Ah! If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. No! Ah! Bravo, Miles Edgeworth! Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that. But what does this all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can only be one answer. And that is? The weapon used to kill the victim was not the shichishito. What? A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy. A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think the sword was the murder weapon? Well, it's because Mr. Kami was holding it. Exactly. However, if we reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. Neon says, yeah, good job. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the shichishito was the murder weapon. Order! Ah! So maybe the shichishito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth. If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. That's... Answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Is someone also going to bring up the fact that there's a child missing? Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was it was just over there. What exactly are you going on about here? The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. You what? Well then. Neon says, I'm sure Pearl's fine. I hope Pearl's fine. I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Impossible. What else? What else could this old woman have seen? I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. and after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time. Well, I'm not in the best of shape, all with my back and my age, you know. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here is a photograph. A snowmobile, eh? Well, I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon. Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please. You are sure about the time? Yes, I was worried about it after all. Why was that? Because I have a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year. The Acolyte was being doused in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night now, could I? So at 11, I decided to leave Hazakura Temple. Her estimation of the time seems reliable, at least. Please continue. Please continue, sister. You asked Phoenix Wright to report the crime, correct? Right, the one who trampled me. It seems she is the type to hold a grudge. There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge. Phoenix Wright? He didn't even have his cell phone on him? He had forgotten it at home, apparently. What a naive boy, as always. I know, right? Not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand, too. Anyway, I was really scared, and it was taking him a while to get back, so I thought I'd go out by the gate. So I thought I'd go out by the main gate for a spell.
Hold it!
As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited. That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls. Now, you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived? Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate. So, she had already gone, discarded the murder weapon, and returned by that time. I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? I need answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question, was it still warm at that time? Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, eh? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? I'm playing to a slow crowd here. It goes without saying that using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used. Ah, I see! I never thought of that! That's right, I overlooked that too. Of course you did. Then answer the question, please, witness. I don't often go around touching hot engines. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it. Snow? Yes, for some reason only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow. There wasn't any snow on it. Curses. It seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile then, eh? How long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile?
Hold it!
In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking. There's a reason for that. Have we got a moment for me to explain? I think that's why the question was asked in the first place. It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. I'd fetched some water and was heading back when I went and crashed into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch, just like that. Crunch! Ow! Ow, poor bikini. Crunch. I haven't been able to find the courage to ride anything since then. Anyway, the killer must have used it. That would explain why she's having back problems. Also, didn't you go get your back checked out at a hospital after that? Just in case.
Hold it!
Refresh our memory. How long were you knocked out for? Like I said, somewhere between 10 to 20 minutes. It is possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile. I have to concede that is more than enough time. Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth? No. Neon says she didn't go to the hospital because the spirits said they would take care of her back. So you say the spirits had her back.
Hold it!
While it would have been possible time-wise, one element remains out of place here. Oh, and what would this mystery element be? The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why did the killer do all of that? Why go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon when there are other methods? Too many unanswered questions. Your response, Miss Von Karma. What? Turning to me for help over the slightest thing. Why don't you think for yourself once in a while, Your Honor? What? She's as over the top as always. Anyway, whatever the reason, the fact remains that the defendant could have done this. The murder weapon was disposed of in the river. Another point to me, Miles Edgeworth. Another mystery to feed the fire. Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Luckily, there is surely a problem with this testimony. Now all I have to do is start poking holes in this flawed account. There's something odd about this picture.
Objection!
I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris left Hazukura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge, and those from coming back. Ah! You're right! You're forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction now, doesn't it? I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Lightning struck Dusky Bridge at 10:45. Around 30 minutes passed between the fire starting and going out. Snow 7 to approximately 10:50. Lightning struck Dusky Bridge at 10:45. So it would have still been snowing when the lightning struck. Is there a flaw in her theory? Yes, there is! This idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks. There's a contradiction. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Ms. Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all of the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge in order to dispose of the murder weapon. The outgoing tracks were erased by snow, or so claims Ms. Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow.
Take that!
Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11. Of course, this means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report? Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Ah! Order! Order! Very well then. It looks like Ms. Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. Ah! It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this then. When is a weather report ever correct? When it's predicting the future. No, you've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast, this is actual data. Yeah! Forecast, data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. It's true, we cannot be totally sure, eh? What? How did she pull that off? It had stopped snowing at Hazukura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. I've come this far, there's no turning back now. Very well. I, too, cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. Ha! You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miss Miles Edgeworth. Speak for yourself, Francie. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Nope. Wrong button.
Take that!
Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception. And And did that ease? The victim herself, Miss Elise Donim. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. Ugh. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph there should be 2 sets of tracks. Ah! Order! Just what are you... Ah! Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all of the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained. Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There is only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder. Which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the Inner Temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. That sounds right. But what's odd is, when I left Iris and returned to the Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too. But that isn't possible. Order in the court! What does this all mean? So then what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the Inner Temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness. Yes, I have nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know. But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out walking, perhaps, near Dusky Bridge on that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that. Oh, how convenient. I know an idiot. Unless they had something really important to do. That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out on that subarctic night. Your Honor, actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. Really? You know of someone who might have been seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are 2 things about him that do come to mind. Which are? First, he's an idiot. First, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. On the second being, this individual that I'm thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he's our kind of idiot. Yes, exactly. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? My mentor, Manfred von Karma's daughter, born and raised in Germany, prosecutor at 13. So she's been at this whole prosecutor thing for 5 years, jeez. Actually, she would have been getting her start about when that one case was going on, wouldn't she? My friend since grade school. I don't remember how we became friends, though. It really is a mystery.
Take that!
This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc de Leduc's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. This is Larry Butts, a disciple of the victim, Elise Donim. Her student? Interesting. And why was he wandering about outside on the night of the murder? That's... I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was, perhaps, searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him, although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man... Yes, I know, he's an idiot. What exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. And I believe he will probably respond favorably to you, Franzi, unfortunately. Do be careful. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry? You may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Do please be careful. Neon says, don't kill him before he testifies. Yes, please, don't kill him. Don't kill him before he has a chance to testify. We all have a vested interest in seeing him alive in court. Afterwards, do as you will. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. And believe me, if you want to do anything to him, you'll have to get in line. I have dibs. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not really sure what to say. Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are 2 things which I need to ask you before we reconvene. Alright, I'll help you any way I can. First, about that night, you really didn't go to the inner temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you in the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying. Mr. Edgeworth, it is just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room in Hazakura Temple. Very well. The second thing, then. That night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the times Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she bore witness to the murder. Sometime between 10:30 and 11 p.m. that night. Were you the one who used the snowmobile? There's only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me. So it was you. Why? Oh, good lord. Iris. I can't tell you about that yet. Yet? Not until her safety is confirmed. Oh, no. Oh, I don't like this. Her? The safety of the Acolyte. The Acolyte, huh? She must be talking about Maya. Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Donim? No matter who or what may come, I can never take a life. I call bullshit on that! You've killed at least one person before. No, you've killed 2 people before. And caused the death of another, though not directly. Court will now reconvene. Miss Von Karma, where is the witness? During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in the gallery. Suspicious behavior? He was sketching something very intently. So, you called him up on sketchy behavior? Dare I ask what the witness was sketching when he was detained? He drew a terrifying woman and armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip. So he drew you. I can only presume that his intention was to capture you. Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse for an artist before the court. So he got your good side. So he didn't get your good side, did he? Laurice Donim, I hope you're ready. Get in here. It would seem that whip is going to see plenty more use today. Remember, Franzi, don't kill him until after he's testified. I know. Ouch! Your sketch is in contempt of this court. Hey, I was just artistically rendering. Ouch! You tried to run away from the bailiff who was trying to hand you your subpoena, correct? Look, I'm nothing but a fledgling artist training out in the mountains. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Isn't that green paint on your shirt? What on earth were you doing with it? Well, to use the technical term for the color, viridian. Larry, this isn't an art store now, is it? I know! I graduated junior high, okay? Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it? Working in the fields? I presume he wanted to say field work. I hope. That's it! Thanks, buddy! It's kind of sad that I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence. That's what you get for being childhood friends. I just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model. Oh, good lord. My condolences, Franzi. So see, I've got nothing to do with this trial at all. I expect all of your faces to be red when you realize this mistake. Bright red. The only way our faces are going to be bright red is if you paint them for us. Or to use the technical term, Crimson Lake. Ouch! Ow, 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 ouch, 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 ouch! Stop your pathetic babbling and testify like a man. Refrain from whipping me, Ms. Von Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. Witness, that was all your fault. Testify now. This is too much for me. Sucks to be you. I was at that lodge out in the mountains looking up at the stars that night. I walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. Neon says the only embarrassment we'll be feeling is secondhand. Yeah. This is going to be so full of secondhand embarrassment. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now. Aren't I edgy? Witness, please refrain from talking directly to the lawyers during your testimony. I'm just a nobody, nothing but a small, worthless man, aren't I? Yes, you are. And why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation or anything else? Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex. He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized for himself just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people. Yeah, that's right. I'm behind everything, every case. Watch out, okay? Just touching me will make you eternally unhappy. Oh, don't I know it. I regret that game of tag when we were children. Well then, let us proceed with the cross-examination, with no touching, thank you. We can delve into the other details at a later time. No touching, you say, so I'm not allowed to slap him? Pity.
Hold it!
Whatever is the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? This one single statement is so full of contradictions. For a moment there, I thought I was going to collapse. So, witness? Any idea as to where these contradictions in your testimony lie? Depending on your answer, I may stay my whip. Thank you, Franziska. Okay, give me a minute. Well, it was snowing that night, so I couldn't possibly have seen the stars. That rundown shack is hardly a lodge, is it? And even if the stars could be seen, it isn't like I was there to look at them, right? Neon says, no slapping. Throwing things is perfectly acceptable. Damn it, I need a prop. Franziska, do you have anything I could borrow just so I can throw it? No, unfortunately. The only things I carry on me are my whip and my cell phone, and I am not letting you throw my cell phone. Understandable. See? You can do it if you try. Yeah. Ouch! There is only one issue here. What you saw at Dusky Bridge.
Hold it!
A number of times? How many? Maybe 5 times? Once every 20 minutes. Which means you spent almost 2 hours at Heavenly Hall that night. You bet! Real love is about waiting with your heart in your hands. Love, you say? It was this man's intention to summon the defendant to the small shack. Using this blackmail letter. But blackmail? No! That was simply a product of overflowing love. Ah! You huffy, puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whining wuss of a witness! So, what did you see? I hope for your sake you saw a snowmobile. You huffy, puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining wuss of a witness, eh? Well, you see, being called those names doesn't seem to bother him at all. Oh, I've been called worse than that, trust me.
Hold it!
Larry, you really didn't see it? Hey, no need to hit your desk, I can hear you. I didn't see it, I didn't see a snowmobile. Larry, say snowmobile for me, please. Snowmobile. If you truly have nothing to hide, then why are you stammering like you just flew over a cuckoo's nest? Shut up! What is this? I don't know, don't ask me! It seems that I'll need to start from a more obvious contradiction. I'm going to strike the blow that will finally get him to spill the beans.
Hold it!
You didn't meet anyone? That's right, because I've got nothing to do with this. And I'm just here to buy some Viridian paint, okay? Come on, I expect to see those Crimson Lake faces now. It would appear that simply pressing him isn't going to be enough, Mr. Edgeworth. Indeed. It seems that he's going to claim to have nothing to do with this to the end. I don't want this guy to cost us any more time. I need to slice through his obvious contradictions and keep things moving along. Well, I can think of one blatantly obvious contradiction, but just to double check. Okay, yes. It does want me to do what I think it wants me to do.
Objection!
Larry Butts. I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic, and you cause all sorts of trouble. I'm sorry. But, having realized just how much of a nuisance you have been, that could be considered a step in the right direction. Edgy, are you trying to console me? Or are you trying to hit on me? I really can't tell. I'm definitely not interested in you, trust me. It certainly doesn't sound that way to me. However, I cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create. Ah, you're totally pinning this on me. Now then, let us talk about the night of the murder. Sister Bikini, after seeing the murder took place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There, he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You, Larry Butts. That's right, me in the flesh. Listen carefully, witness. It doesn't matter if you change your name. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you will continue to cause these incidents. Oh, he's got a good point there. That reality will not change. Yeah, Larry, if you want to actually change, you're going to have... If you want to start a new life, you're going to have to, like, change your underlying habits. Which means, you know, stop pursuing every girl you come across. Especially girls who will fuck you over. Like Dahlia, Iris. And Franziska von Karma with her whip. But what do you want me to do then? Larry, what you need to change is your inner self. But for now, what you saw that night, testifying truthfully about this one issue is all I need from you. Yeah, gee, I think I've finally woken up. Well, I guess I could still be sleeping. But anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure this will go especially well. I'll ask you again then, witness. What did you see on the night of the murder? I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been around 10:30 p.m. Yeah, I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window, and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. And that's when I ran into Nick. You certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you? So, what happened to the bridge after it caught on fire? It was like me after a 3-day stint chasing a girl. Larry, what the hell does that even mean? It totally burnt out! Larry! Oh my god. Like, almost totally gone. I mean, trying to cross the burning remains was what caused Nick to fall. What did you say? Oh, don't worry, it's nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold. I never know what that meant, if he should be called lucky or unlucky. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross-examination. I went to the shack around 9, so we're getting around 10:30. What did you do out there in the cold for an hour and a half? Well, if you really must know, I was busy being excited, I guess. Excited? Dare I even ask? I set the meeting time as 10 p.m., right? But I couldn't wait, and I thought she might come early, too. Well, it appears she didn't come at all in the end. Because they never arranged to meet in the first place, did they? Shut up! Don't go picking my fond memories apart! Anyway, I was getting a little worried. I thought maybe Iris had lost her way, so every 20 minutes or so I went out to the bridge. But I didn't see anything particularly suspicious. I didn't have anything else to do, so I went back to the shack to wait for her. Just to double check. Lightning struck the bridge at 10:45. So his timing is slightly off. I mean, I wouldn't say it's too horribly off, considering, but... that would mean that he went to the bridge at around 10:45. So if we say if we give it some leeway here, that means that let's say it took him like 5 minutes to get up there. So around 10:50, this bridge was worked up into a roaring fire. But if the incident occurred at around 11, then that means that there's like a 10-minute period of like him doing what? Standing there staring at the burning bridge?
Hold it!
This light was, of course, lightning, like kerpow! Find that pen soon enough. Like a slap from Naomi, honestly. A big bada boom. Ah! Or a little like that. Ah, that's more like a punch from Miranda. You really don't have good luck with women, do you? Witness, did you actually see the lightning hit the bridge? Well, I was a bit startled by the flash of lights, so... I looked at the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire. Seeing that, what did you do? What do you think? I was burning up as well, from the fire in my heart. And that's why you went to take a look at the breach? Well, to be honest, it was freezing cold, so at first I thought, forget it, I'm not leaving my covers. But it had pretty much stopped snowing, so I don't know, I changed my mind. Okay. So that means he would have gone up at around 10:50. That's interesting. That does at least shorten the gap. Again, assuming like 5 minutes, it takes him 5 minutes to get up there, or so. Probably less, honestly, but if we assume it takes like 5 minutes to get up there, then it would have been about 5 minutes until the incident. But that still leaves a whole lot of time unaccounted for. Again, the incident took place around 11 p.m., so and it takes like 15 minutes on foot. So Phoenix would have gotten there around 11:15. But the bridge was still on fire at the time, and it took 30 minutes for the fire to burn out. Lightning struck, so by the time he arrived, it should have been almost out, but it was still on fire. I'm actually noting my thoughts down here for once. I think that... because that might help in the long run. I probably should have been doing that from the beginning, but oh well. I'm not sure I care for the forget-it attitude you had at first, witness. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. You said right away, but exactly how long after the strike was that? The lightning fell, and then the bridge caught on fire. Maybe around 5 minutes? Aha! I mean, I suddenly thought, gotta go check this out. How far is the small shock you were in from the breach? Hold on. Well, it had pretty much stopped snowing. I guess about a 5-minute walk? Okay. So he went around 10:50, arrived at the bridge at 10:55. Okay, so that's getting closer to when the incident happened. And how did Dusky Bridge look when you got there? Like I had recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfires kids make during school camping trips can compare. Well, should I press him for a little more info? This is a good question. Larry, let me ask you one thing. What is it, Edgy? What's with the serious face? Why didn't you call anyone? Huh? What do you mean? Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try and tell someone. There's a public phone right by Dusky Bridge, correct? Well, of course I thought of doing that. So then, let's hear why you didn't. Huh? Yeah, okay, my reason. It isn't that I didn't try to tell anyone, I just didn't have time to, okay? Why didn't you have time? Aha. There's our problem. Nick could not have shown up then. You claim to have arrived at the bridge at the same time as Wright. Yeah! I thought I'd better tell someone about this. But then Nick came up yelling about murder. It totally made me forget about the bridge. The fire was pretty much out by then anyway. What's this feeling? I suddenly have a terrible case of unease. It was after contacting the police that Phoenix Wright fell from the bridge, correct? Nope. Yeah, that's pretty much it, more or less. You told me about the burning bridge yesterday, but there's still something that doesn't quite fit. It looks like, despite his change of heart, Larry still isn't telling us the whole truth. He's missing a step. Just to be sure. Okay, yes, good. I'm on the right track.
Objection!
Your very existence being a contradiction, I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not. What the hey, Edgy? You make me sound like some sort of alien. But your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time. Exactly what I was thinking! I've never been the best timekeeper, you know. 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take for you to catch up with him? Terrible at those. This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what had happened. Is this correct? Yeah, well, I wasted about 5 minutes first, but more or less. I have the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, the lightning fell at 10:45 p.m. You say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to Dusky Bridge, meaning you probably got there at around 11 p.m. That all sounds about right, I guess. And then Nick showed up and did his falling act. That is impossible. Exactly what I was thinking. What do you mean? 11 p.m. is when the murder occurred in Hazakura Temple. Thus, Wright was still there, in the courtyard. There's no way that Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge at that time. Excuse me, I have an objection. You do? Edgy, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry, I'm Maurice O'Neill. Ah! It has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11 p.m. The sister only said around 11. In which case, it could have been earlier than that. Watch your footing there, Miss Franziska von Karma. The slope ahead is slippery. For there is still no way that Wright could have been at Dusky Bridge at 11 p.m. And why not? It is clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15 p.m. Which means what exactly? Wright did not see the bridge while it was being consumed by the flames that night. In fact, he did not arrive on the scene until after the flames had died down. Ah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so he would have had to have arrived at 11:15. At or after. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11 p.m., but Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. I suggest you stop hiding things and just tell us the whole truth. Now then, what happened during these missing 15 minutes? Urk. I feel like I just got brutally woken up by toilet splashback. Larry, please, I did not need that mental image. I guess I was still sleeping after all. Ha ha ha, pinch me. Order. Ah! So there was a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Phoenix Wright. I hardly see that as much of a problem. Yeah, not much of a problem at all. Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes, and there's a phone right next to it. Why, then, did you not report the accident? Yes, witness, why didn't you? Were you there simply to watch the bridge burn? And therein lies the problem, for even after the bridge had burnt out, he was still there. Staring into space, this witness didn't even attempt to fulfill his civic duty. That's what it sounds like. Ah, but this is Larry we are talking about, and even he is incapable of being so stupid. Which means there has to be a reason for his inaction. Hedgie. I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. Just as I thought, you've been playing with us all this time. Listen, I'm gonna tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all? Suddenly, I'm not so sure about that. Yes. I may really say it this time. Everything. Ah! Then say it! Very well. I have a terribly bad feeling about this, however. Let's have the witness finally give us the whole truth. Oh, good. I'm not the only one who's feeling uneasy. And Neon says, bring it! Now, for this 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness? And please don't make me bust out the Magatama on the stand. It'll be embarrassing for all of us. I'm a donim. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. You're not Yusuke. The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out and then he came running up. I suppose artists can be strange folk. That's right! I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch. Including the truth from the sound of it. Mr. Edgeworth, has this removed the last of your doubts? Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains. And what would that be? This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So, why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him. You'll regret this, Edgy! Oh, please don't. Please don't take that tone with me. I'm already regretting this entire thing.
Hold it!
Tell us, Larry. My name is Laurice, get it right! Mistakes like that are what keep you from being popular with the ladies like I am. Popular? I find that doubtful, my dear friend. Just who exactly are you? I'm Maurice Donin, apprentice extraordinaire. That's what he calls himself in any case. Then you are an artist? Of course, I'm an artist, the real thing. He's actually not that bad of an artist, I'll give him that. But yet again, that's what he calls himself. Names mean nothing. There's only one issue I care to discuss. What were you doing? That is a very big issue indeed.
Hold it!
Sketching the burning bridge. The burning bridge and everything that came with it. What? Came with it? You want to hear this from my lips, do you, Edgy? You'll regret this. That sketch of mine is... Ah! Enough! Just take that ridiculous sketch of yours out already, witness. What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. That does indeed appear to be the fastest solution. Yeah, I was going to suggest that, actually. I'll leave it to you, Mr. Edgeworth. What should I do? I've got a terrible feeling that the instant this sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what is depicted there. Well, no pain, no gain, I suppose. Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch, please? And Neon says, bring it! Bring it, Larry! Well, well, even I couldn't have imagined it'd turn out like this. Imagined what? That Maurice Donim's debut would take place here today like this. Ow, 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 ow! Show it, now! Okay, but steel yourselves. This is the world of Maurice Donim. Well, so this is Dusky Bridge, correct? Quite a large bridge, isn't it? Your response, Miss Von Karma. Yes, well, it's a better drawing than I expected. Again, I have to admit that he is a decent artist, much to my chagrin. Isn't it? Isn't it? I struggled to reproduce those flames, I really did. And you did a good job, I will admit. Yes, I'm sure you did. Ugh, this is going to get ugly. No one has the courage to bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object. Larry. What? The burning bridge is fine, but... what is that unfortunate-looking figure? Ah, you spotted that? I thought you might. However much I might want to ignore it, I can't. It's Iris, of course! Iris! I wish she'd take better care of herself. We have to plan for our future, you know? What would have happened to her if she had injured herself flying like that? Larry, please, answer this next question honestly. Okay? Are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen the silhouette of the defendant flying over a bridge that was engulfed in flames? Yep, that's what I saw. That's why I drew it. I'm an artist, a real artist. Are you high? The girl, she's really high up in this picture. What was that for? This is all a bad dream. I was hitting you on the cheek to test that theory. Please whip your own cheek from now on if you wish to test your wild theories. But slapping is not allowed in this courtroom. And it is rather difficult to whip oneself with a whip, at least on the cheek. Anyway, no court of law will ever acknowledge that people can fly unassisted. Anyway, that was the most Canadian I've ever made him sound. Wow. Actually, there is some precedent for this. She was flying pretty high, my sweet Iris. She was about 30 feet above the bridge, at least. It was really something to see. This has to be some kind of mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to earth. What? Me? This witness is your friend, is he not? Accessory to foolishness, Miles Edgeworth. Let us get back to the cross-examination by force if necessary. Why would we need to use force? Mr. Edgeworth, I expect you to expose the obvious contradiction here. Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I've got another reason to remember this moron. Well, what did you think of my debut piece? It's something, all right. Get that thing away from me. Added to the court record. Horrible sketch of what he saw the night of the crime. It's actually pretty good! Now hurry up and cross-examine him.
Hold it!
Just where did you see this sight from? Hey, no need to shout! When I was lying in bed in that rundown shack, the crack of the lightning bolt made me realize that the bridge was burning. I just watched it for a while from there, thinking how nicely it was burning. Then after about 5 minutes, I saw it. The defendant flying? That's right! That's when I decided to go to the bridge. I see, that all makes sense. Aside from the sketch itself. Yes, this sketch doesn't make any sense. I just need to convince the artist that his work is ludicrous.
Hold it!
You transferred everything directly onto the page, and that is this sketch here. Yep, sensational, isn't it? Or should that be scandalous? It put my mind at ease, anyway. It did? That's right! The reason she didn't come to me, even though I waited for her, was because she was trapped on the other side of the bridge. Could it be that Iris undertook that dangerous, desperate flight in order to reach me? That's gotta be it. Alright, go, me! Nice, ouch! Continue, please. Yeah, she wasn't on the other side of the bridge, though. You forgot the passage of time to that extent, did you? Hey, he's valid. I sometimes lose track of time when I get really into drawing. Well, once I get caught up in something, I tend to forget everything else. That's true, he's always been that way. So he's perfect as an artist. I guess he's not lying about that, at least. Phoenix Wright appeared on the scene after 11:15. If he was drawing until then, that dispels all doubts. Aside from doubts of his humanity, eh? There is a big clue waiting for me in this cross-examination. His testimony does nothing less than mock the court. But I am sure that there's a vital kernel of truth hidden in it somewhere. Larry, what did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care. In your position, that's just being irresponsible. I drew exactly what I saw. I'll give you a whole $1 that it's the truth. If that is truly the case, then there is one thing that we can say for certain. What might that be? That the person who flew over the bridge could not have been the defendant, Iris. What? What do you mean? I don't understand. Ah! A foolhardy folly of a foolish statement by an equally foolishly foolhardy fool. How exactly can you make this claim? Tell us, Larry, according to this picture, the individual whom you say you saw was wearing a hood, correct? Of course she was. That rundown shack is quite away from the bridge. The hood is what told me that this floating angel was my Iris. The hood is my darling Iris, and Iris is my darling hood. Ah! It seems there are bigger fools in this world than the one at the defense's bench. Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing her hood. She had given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps suggest it was Wright who took flight? What are you talking about? I think you understand what I mean just fine. Why? Why did Nick have Iris's hood? What? Reggie, what's going on with Iris and Nick? Why, you Nick, you dog! In all honesty, Larry, I have no idea what the deal is between Iris and Nick. I know that it exists, but that's all I know. I do believe that this unbelievably mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited, and discarded straight into the garbage. Huh. What is it now, witness? It feels like I've been waiting 25 years for this very day to come. Edgy! Today is the day I get to completely stupefy you! What? What is the meaning of your outburst, witness? I hate to have to do this, but I have some definitive evidence. Definitive evidence? Iris did indeed come flying over the burning bridge, and I, Laurice Donim, shall prove it. Oh, this should be good. I didn't expect to ask this again, but we shall be needing your testimony once again. Tell us about anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in this sketch, and show us your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality. Okay, I hope you're ready, Edgy, because I'm going to feed you a whopping serving of pain. You've been serving us a whopping serving of pain this whole time. Trust me. When I reached Dusky Bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her. That led to me finding a beautiful crystal sphere, half buried in the snow. Oh. That's where it went. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. No, she wasn't. After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night. Larry, you should know better. You, of all people, should know better. A crystal sphere? This one. Pretty, isn't it? But finders keepers. It's covered in blood. It's evidence. It's clearly evidence. Put it in the court record. Larry? I'm not going to ask you again. Put it in the court record. That sphere. Where did you find it? Let me see. Around here somewhere? Looks about right. And it was half buried in the snow. It had pretty much stopped snowing by then, but there was still some falling as I walked to the bridge. Court accepts this crystal sphere. That's mine, okay? I want it back afterwards. There's something on it. Oh my, it's blood! What? Blood. You ready, Edgy? By tomorrow morning you'll be calling me Master Larry. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's going to push me around anymore. Didn't you want to be called Laurie Stoneem only a few minutes ago?
Hold it!
So you went to the burning bridge. That's right, to meet Iris. She actually flew to get to me. The least I could do was meet her halfway. But the defendant was not at the bridge when you got there, you say. I guess she went back to Hazukura Temple. She's a girl, after all. She must have wanted to look her best. It must be lovely to live in the fantasy land of Larry's mind. Actually, it's so depressing that I can't even work up the energy to point. So, what did you do next?
Hold it!
So, you searched all over for her. She was flying pretty high, you know. I thought maybe she slipped on her landing and got hurt. Hey, it was more than possible. Also, when I headed out to the shack the first time, I was snacking on a banana. I was pretty sure I threw the peel away somewhere around there, so, you know. Can one guy really be this stupid? So, did you find any signs of her so-called landing? I don't really remember. I kept on falling over myself and kind of lost it for a while there. You fell over yourself? Yeah, the snow was deep and there was even a banana peel out there. Larry, you dumbass! Yup, there's stupid and then there's Larry Butts. The short of it is that you didn't find any signs of her landing, correct? Then what happened next?
Hold it!
Half buried. It was sitting in the snow with a little gathered on top of it. It was very hard to spot, actually. I mean, it was dark out, too. I'm impressed. You did well to find it. No matter what you may think when you look at me, I'm a pro, a genius security guard. I used a pen light I borrowed from my company to help in my search. And it sparkled really brightly as if it was saying, "Here I am," to me. The bridge was on fire. Why would you need a pen light? Actually, that's a good point. It does indeed look very much like the crystal sphere on Iris's hood. Ah. But need I remind you that she was not wearing her hood that night? And it still has the sphere on it. Her hood does, I mean. Wait, does it? Yes.
Hold it!
Each nun is assigned their own hood, and they're assigned only one. I don't know anything about that, okay? And Iris is special, alright, dude? Even if she did steal a spare hood, I'll forgive her. This is getting us nowhere, our destination for the day, it seems. However, this crystal sphere was found near the bridge. That is a fact. If it didn't come from a hood, where could it have come from? That is the question I aim to answer.
Hold it!
Let me confirm this one last time, Larry. The reasons you thought that this was Iris are the hood and this crystal sphere, correct? That's right, my gut is never wrong. I met that old bikini the next morning, and her crystal sphere was still there, safe and sound. Indeed. She was wearing it in this very room earlier today. This case isn't going to end without a fight. Exposing the obvious contradictions in this testimony will be easy, but I fear that all that awaits us are further mysteries. Hey Larry, you're a dumbass. Larry, that night, there was someone who lost a crystal sphere. Someone you should know very well, you dumbass. There was? Who was this stupid idiot? Are you sure you want to be calling her that? Miss Elise Doneen, the mentor to a stupid idiot. The victim? I have a photo of her here. And on the end of her staff, you can see a familiar-looking crystal sphere. Hey! That's my photograph! Give it back! Ow! A crystal sphere like that is quite easy to find. I have one just like it on my brooch. They look nothing alike. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff found at the scene of the crime. Ah! The crystal sphere. It's gone. Whoa. What? Just what does this mean? If anyone jumped or flew across the bridge that night, it certainly was not Iris. After all, she was not wearing her hood. More importantly, the crystal sphere found at the landing site was not hers either. That means the one who flew and dropped the sphere was the victim, Miss Elise Doneen? A fool alongside another fool on a fool's errand to reach a foolish conclusion. First of all, this sketch, which I prefer to call a scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly, thus it was rejected. You can't do that, I saw it with my own two eyes! And this crystal sphere, this is nothing more than a red herring. You honestly believe that? Give it some thought, and I'm sure you'll realize it as well, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Doneen was in her room on the night of the murder. There was no reason for her to go to Dusky Bridge. Therefore, this sphere cannot be related to this case, that is all. Actually, I think you were about on the right track, Francie, but you missed the last step. The sphere is related to this case, but I think you're on the right track that Elise isn't the one who dropped it. Ms. Franziska von Karma. The only people who will accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns. Why are you pointing at me? Why do you think? The victim's crystal sphere was found near the bridge on the night of her murder. Yet you expect us to believe this has nothing to do with the case? That crystal sphere, it was probably thrown away at the bridge after the murder. Again, I don't think she's wrong. After the murder, there's blood on the crystal sphere, isn't there? This naturally suggests that it was thrown away after the murder took place. The killer placed it there to throw the investigation off the scent, which is the exact same reason that he drew that ridiculous sketch. What? You mean I'm the killer? No way! All joking aside, just when did this crystal sphere appear near the foot of the bridge? Unless this can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe this is related to the case. Double check. Okay. The blue is where he found it. I mean, if he had found it closer to Heavenly Hall, I would have guessed that someone chucked it in the river and it got washed, and just, got washed down there. But then again, we wouldn't be able to see the blood on it if it had fallen into the water. That is a conundrum. She makes a valid point. There is no evidence that Elise Doneen left Hazakura Temple that night, However, if somehow this crystal sphere can be proven to have been dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to transform into something else entirely. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth. I want your final opinion on the disposition of this crystal sphere. If it is not related to the case, then this witness who you called will have been nothing more than a monumental waste of time. Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Miles Edgeworth. Can I prove it? Can I prove that the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder took place? Think so? Can I prove it? That isn't the issue. To simply prove it. That's the only option. And that's what he'd do. That's the way Phoenix Wright would do this. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I will prove that this crystal sphere is a vital link to solving this case. You will do what? That look in your eyes. You remind me of Phoenix Wright when he is cornered. That should come as no surprise, because right now I am Phoenix Wright, and I am indeed cornered. I order you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Evidence that proves that the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder.
Take that!
This crystal sphere, it was half buried in the snow, correct? That's right. If it hadn't stopped snowing, then it would have been game over. The snow would have totally covered it. That's all I needed to hear from you, Larry. Your testimony makes one thing quite clear. What? When the crystal sphere was dropped, it was snowing, even if it was ever so slightly. Snowing? On the other hand, let us look at the scene of the murder. As proven earlier today, there is no snow on the victim's body. Ah! Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder. What? Did indeed go to Dusky Bridge, and there, something occurred that caused the staff's crystal sphere to come loose. What? What could that have been? This sphere. There is some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this junction. The real crime scene was near the foot of Dusky Bridge. Objection! We need to analyze that blood. The murder didn't take place in the Hazakura Temple courtyard? Only a fool would suggest such a foolish piece of absolute foolishness. Just who is the fool? And which part is so foolish, Miss Von Karma? Have you been paying any attention this whole time, Miles Edgeworth? The sister saw everything. She saw the victim being killed by the defendant in the Hazakura Temple courtyard, and we've already called that into question, my dear.
Objection!
That's not exactly true, now is it? To put it more precisely, what she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body. That's the same thing! No, it isn't. You said it yourself. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood will be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. If that statement is the truth, then Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. The murder weapon was not removed, thus there was no bleeding.
Objection!
You are forgetting one vital thing, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Donim's body was found in Hazakura Temple. On foot it takes 15 minutes to travel from Dusky Bridge to Hazakura Temple. You mean to suggest someone carried the body all that way? I've made it this far. The only place to take this is to the end. I just need to prove that my version of the events is also perfectly plausible. Now, if the defense is ready, the court would like to have an explanation. Please show us the method by which the victim's body was carried to Hazakura Temple. Oh, I've got an idea.
Take that!
On that snowy night, there is one way that a body could have been moved. The snowmobile. Aha! As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon, but it could also have been used to carry a body. Order, order, order! Gah! This is completely unacceptable, Miles Edgeworth. You've dug yourself into your own grave. What do you mean? The only one who could have used the snowmobile was the defendant. She's the one who moved the body. Doesn't that put the final nail in your coffin? You're too late, Franziska von Karma. And in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We have shown that this case requires further investigation. What? Where was the victim, Elise Donim, really killed? If her body was moved, whatever for? And finally, just what does this image mean? Do you even need to think about that? Such a creature could never see the truth, let alone describe it.
Objection!
This witness certainly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he is enamored. He drew this, so it is something that actually... Testing, testing. Am I getting any feedback at all right now? Aha, that sounds promising. Barely getting anything, but... Okay, I hope that this comes through. Testing, testing. Okay. Sounds like it's working, though admittedly it's a bit soft. Oh well. Okay. Now, either Phoenix is going to get to step up to the plate, or he's going to be, or Edgy is going to get to do the rest of this case. I would not be upset about that. I'm still up at this hour, reading through the trial record of a certain case. It's the first case my mentor, Mia Fey, had ever handled in a court of law. The horrifying truth that I refuse to accept is holding me hostage here within its pages. Dahlia Hawthorne. What I have read, I don't want to believe. What is written here? This isn't the Dahlia I knew. After falling into Eagle River, I was somehow miraculously saved. But I ended up catching a cold that seemed to knock me around the world and back. I feel dizzy, my ears are ringing, my throat burns, and my head is on fire. But I will recover. I have to recover by this afternoon. I have to meet with the most ill-tempered witness imaginable. I know that he will be able to help me with them. Somehow. Right. Are you sure you're well enough to be doing this? You still look a little green in the face. Or maybe Viridian in artist speak. Actually, my fever has gone down quite a bit. How's your temperature now? How's your temperature now? Only 102.2 degrees. Nothing to worry about. Cough, cough, cough. Anyway, I read today's trial record. You weren't bad, Edgeworth. Pretty impressive despite the circumstances. We're not in the clear yet. The main point of contention tomorrow is going to be the murder weapon. Yeah. In the end, the Shichishito did not deliver the deadly blow, which means there must be another sword hiding out there that we don't know about. Another sword, huh? Don't you worry about a thing, pal. I'll dig up the murder weapon myself or I'll eat my coat. Thanks again, Edgeworth. I'll handle things from here. Are you sure? That is probably for the best. Actually, I was thinking about paying the old precinct a little visit. There's something I want to look into. And that is our client's background, naturally. You mean Iris, sir? I have the feeling that we've met before. All I want is confirmation, one way or the other. And since I probably won't be getting that from you... I'm sorry, Edgeworth. I bid you adieu, Wright. Take care. Guess I should get moving too. Why? Do you need to be somewhere? Yeah, I've got to get to work on this bridge, pal. I'm rigging something up so we can get across to the other side. That's right. Maya's still stuck over at the inner temple. But don't you worry, pal. As soon as it's all set, you'll be the first to know. Thank you, Gumshoe. Cough, cough. Cough, 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 cough. No problem, pal. Just try not to give me that cough of yours, okay? Neon says, I may eat my coat anyway. I'm pretty hungry, pal. Someone pay Gumshoe a living wage so that he can eat something, like, other than his coat and ramen. Alright, I'm off. Hang in there, Maya. We'll get you out, I promise. But in the meantime, I've got to continue collecting evidence. That thing looks like it's ready to collapse, at least more than it did before. According to Bikini, Eagle Mountain is very prone to earthquakes. Which reminds me, if my memory serves me correctly, Edgeworth isn't exactly a fan of earthquakes. Oh yeah, poor dude. Poor Edgy. Yeah, it looks like it's about 20 yards to that cliff over there. I can't see the inner temple from here. I really hope Maya's okay. Me too! I hope everyone's okay! Hazakura Temple doesn't have a single private phone line. And there aren't any houses in the area, so I guess Bikini is the only one who uses this. I really wish I had brought my cell phone with me. Why haven't you been back to your office to grab it? Now it really is more of a dusty bridge than a dusky bridge. That kidnapping incident happened here 11 years ago, so maybe it's cursed too. There's a narrow path going off in a different direction than that of the main hall. Looks like someone's taken the effort to write to Heavenly Hall on the signpost. May as well investigate here. Looks like no one's here. Larry! Laurice! I was sure he'd be hiding here. Guess I'll try again later. Look at this graffiti scrawled right in the front of the shack. At least he managed to get a pretty good likeness. When I really think about it, I guess art kind of suits him. I mean, his very existence is an art of sorts. Yeah. I keep saying he's actually a decent artist. I think he might have actually found his calling. That stuff is really ruining the beautiful atmosphere around here. It's so inappropriate. Like Sister Bikini in a bikini. Ugh. I've gotta think of the kittens. The snow is really piled up on the straw roof. It's otherworldly, like something out of a fairy tale. Well, the roof part anyway. The sign says Heavenly Hall. I guess it's pretty fitting. If you spent a night in this little freezing shack, you'd probably find yourself at the pearly gates by morning. This is the famous Eagle River. I got to try out its rough rapids the other night. They say it has a really strong current, and they weren't kidding. It's both powerful and fast-flowing. I was dead lucky. I mean, lucky not to be dead. That's Dusky Bridge up there. It's amazing how clearly you can see it from so far away. Larry supposedly saw everything through the shack's window. Not much light gets down here, so it must be pitch black at night. This area was probably illuminated that night because of the burning bridge above. Come on, please. It's for art's sake, I swear. There's only one guy I know who could be this persistent and high-strung. I'm talking about the heroine here. The heroine in my book. It'll make you famous. Ah! Enough. A fool's fool fools fools who foolishly accept the foolishness of a fool's fool. Wouldn't you agree, Phoenix Wright? Huh? Me? Wait a second. I know you. You're, Ow! Your reflexes and mine need to shape up. My brain's frying like a sunny side up and you want to grill me over a name? Francie, you can't do that! Even as we speak, Nick's on the brink of death, or so I'm told. Whip a dead horse. Isn't that one of your American sayings? It's don't beat a dead horse, Francie. No, it's not. And I'm not on the brink of anything. Come on, Nick, tell her, would you? Tell her she needs to model for my new picture book, Francie's Whippity Whip Trip. I take it back, Francisca. Whip him as much as you want. Gah! Before you ask me to model, learn to give at least semi-coherent testimony. And before that, you'll have to learn how to live a semi-coherent life, Larry. I don't care what anyone says. I'm telling the truth. I saw what I saw. She flew, I'm telling you. Whoosh, just like that dude with the red underwear. Don't think I'm gonna forgive you guys when you come crawling back to apologize. Ugh, off he goes. I'm too sick for this. It's amazing how little has changed with you in the past year, Phoenix Wright. Hey, Francie. Have you been in Germany all this time? That's right. Extending my perfect win record. Naturally. Oh, joy. Sounds like she hasn't changed a bit. Has it really been a year since we first met? I am Franziska von Karma, the prodigy. I see. I gave up a promising career in Germany and came to this country for one sole reason. Revenge. Franziska was born and raised in Germany and became a prosecutor at the age of 13. Her father was the legendary prosecutor, Manfred von Karma. He had a perfect win record for 40 long years, but now he's gone from this world. Don't tell me you still hold a grudge against me because of what happened to your father. Phoenix Wright, you will fall before me, this I promise. But it will be for my sake, not my father's. Are we clear? Yes, Crystal. In truth, I was shocked. I came back to America with the intention of defeating you. Instead, it was my little brother who was leading the defense. Isn't he older than you? Edgeworth. Come to think of it, Edgeworth was pulled into being a prosecutor by Manfred von Karma as well. Miles Edgeworth told me something very interesting, you know. He said this case has a special significance to you. Because it does. And that's precisely why I'm here. Your personal involvement will make crushing you into teensy-weensy pieces all the better. It's probably the fever, but she's so openly hostile that it's almost kind of cute. She's always cute. Her hostility is always cute. Ow! No smirking. No whipping the sick. That foolish fool doing such a foolish favor for such a foolishly foolish fool. Edgeworth. Make no mistake, Phoenix Wright. I came here for one thing and one thing only. To pulverize you. It's not like I thought you were here to bring me some Cold Killer X, you know. I went over the whole case file on the flight over. You read the whole thing? Yes, every last word of every last sentence of every last paragraph. It was a very long and boring flight. All the ridiculous things you did made it a very interesting read, you know. Attempting to cross a burning bridge, did you even consider the dangers? No. The only thought in my mind was I have to get across. A fool who doesn't think is more foolish than a fool who foolishly thinks. Gumshoe said he'd let me know once the bridge was repaired. Maya, she's gotta be okay, I just know it. Plus, I need to ask her about what really happened at the Inner Temple that night. Aww. Miles Edgeworth, age 26. An old friend. Said to be number one at the DA's office. Studies foreign judicial systems now. No. Let's examine the area. You can see the main hall from here. I wonder how the head nun is holding up. Oh wow, is that an inkling of human kindness I sense? Ow! Do you enjoy causing other people pain with that sharp tongue of yours? It's nothing compared to the pain you cause with that leathery whip of yours. This is one impressive gate. Compared to the grandeur of the main gate of the Von Karma estate, it's but a pet door. It looks really idyllic with all that snow on it, don't you think? Oh, that snow? Don't make me laugh. This is but a light dusting where I come from. Don't make things up just because you think I'll never get to see it for myself. I'd love to know what that thing was used for on the night of the crime. Ha! Still thinking small, I see, Phoenix Wright. Or perhaps not at all. When have I ever thought things through? Really? That's why you will never defeat me. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I don't recall ever losing to you. It's time for us to settle this once and for all with one final showdown. Looks like she mentally blocked out my victories over her from her memory. It's a quaint little bell tower. I never would have thought that something this horrible was about to happen when Iris rang the lights out bell that night. That was one long sigh. Sister Bikini? My, I didn't know you were there. How are you doing? Wahahahahaha. Neon suggests just picking Francisca up and giving her a noogie or something. You don't have to pretend to be in a good mood for my sake. I suppose I've made a terrible mess of things, haven't I? I let Mystic Elise die, and then there's Iris as well. Mystic Elise? Now that I think about it, There's an acolyte stuck at the inner temple. And that poor little girl's gone missing too. That little girl? You don't mean Pearls, do you? Yes, I'm afraid I do. She hasn't been seen since the morning after the incident. Pearls? She's missing? Why didn't anyone tell me about this? I must be getting old. I think I've seriously lost faith in myself. Are you talking about your performance at the trial today? You believe me, don't you? I'm not a liar. I would never lie. I know what I saw. I saw Iris pull that sword from Mystic Elise's body that night. I'm certain of it. At least I was until this morning. I don't see any Cyclops, so she must be telling the truth. So why are you so unsure of yourself all of a sudden? You know that artist who testified after me? Saw Iris flying, her white hood fluttering. Felt like I might start flying myself. When I saw that man testify so fervently about something so impossible, I started to wonder if I had acted just like him when I was on the witness stand. I wouldn't take that guy too seriously. He's an artist, but all he draws is trouble and nothing else. If both Bikini and Larry are telling the truth, that can only mean one thing. They both didn't see what they think they saw. On the the night of the incident, you met Iris at the Inner Temple, is that correct? That's right, I'm sure it was Iris. But Iris claims she was in her room in Hazakura Temple. I knew I shouldn't have come back here that night. But because you did, Maya's stuck all by herself at the Inner Temple. I'm so sorry. The drafts in that place are nothing to shake a stick at. Winter is especially bad. I'll bet. The training hall looks like it's about to fall down any second. Eagle Mountain has always been prone to earthquakes, just so you know. Earthquakes? Yes, I won't be surprised if the next big one levels the training hall. We've got to get Maya out of there fast. But still, there's really no need to worry. That area on the other side of Dusky Bridge is isolated like an island. It's like an island? How so? Well, the only thing on that side of the bridge is the Inner Temple. No one lives out there, and it's surrounded on all sides by the river or the forest. I see. So a criminal would be trapped should they choose to flee in that direction. And as long as the bridge is out of commission, he or she will have to stay there. That means Maya could be stuck out there with a murderer and with no way of escape either. Oh dear, yes, I suppose it does. Please, Gumshoe, get that bridge up faster. Phoenix's health, this is not doing, Phoenix's health any favors. Neon says, I'm sure an earthquake will never happen during this case. There better not be an earthquake during this case, I swear to God. God, I'm just imagining an earthquake hitting and poor Edgeworth just taking cover under his desk. I'm curious about a few things, if you don't mind answering some questions. Oh, do you need to know my measurements for your investigation or something? No. I want to know a little more about the victim, Miss Elise Donim. I'm afraid I don't know her waist size or her bust size for that matter. I don't need to know her measurements. No, I'm wondering why she came to stay in a place like this to begin with. I mean, she told us herself that she wasn't here for spiritual training. My, you make it sound like this place is some sort of dump, Mr. Wright. Mystic Elise was here to soak up the natural beauty of Eagle Mountain, if you must know. There, you did it again, Sister Bikini. I noticed you always referred to Miss Donim as Mystic Elise. Oh? Yes, now, why is that? After all, she's not here as an acolyte. We address all our visitors as Mystic. It makes their experience feel authentic. And anyway, she's older than me. You must respect your elders, you know. How do you know that? How can you say for sure that she's older than you? Knew it! I knew it! It seems Miss Elise Donim was no ordinary visitor after all. And there's Pearls. She was with Miss Donim on the evening of the murder, and now she's vanished. It's all got to be connected somehow. Why did Pearls have to get mixed up in this mess? Please, Mr. Wright, I know you're worried, but try to keep it together. Oh, man. My head's throbbing so bad it's killing me. Pearls. She was with Miss Donim on the night of the murder, remember? Yes, but I have a temple to run, you know? I was busy preparing for the training. I didn't see the little darling even once after we'd finished eating dinner. The murder. It didn't take place right in front of her innocent eyes, did it? Oh, I hope not. Of course, it's a little bit past 10 now, and this seems like a good place to stop off for the night. Hey, Gumshoe, finish that thing faster, please. And also, please God, let there not be an earthquake during this case. But, we'll find out all that next week. Good night and thank you for coming.